Tokens so nice, we'll make 'em thrice.
Only shooting stars break the mold.
Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I'm playing Triple the Tokens with Ojer Taq, Deepest Foundation. This is a token tripler, but only for creature tokens, which means that treasures and maps and other things like that don't get tripled, but who needs it when you have 3 times as many creatures coming into play? This is, as you might imagine, very similar to my Mondrak deck with tons of tokens, including some really good new token makers and a very fun new finisher, Moonshaker Cavalry. Yeah, pretend I can say that word right. This is a deck that is going fairly wide, but going wide in the late game. Unlike Mondrak, this is a 6-mana commander, which means that you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer and do a bit more ramping before you get to slam down your commander. But in the meantime, you can still double your tokens with your Anointed Procession effects, make lots of tokens, beef up the board, remove things with some really good new pieces of white removal, hold the line until it's talking time. I think that this is a really cool deck because it gets to do what white does, which is make a lot of cool tokens. We also have some big tokens like 4/4 Angels and a brand new giant token that scales with the number of tokens you have from Thousand Moons Smithy. I actually think that this is one of the coolest new additions to the deck, and it works similarly to Karn, except these gnomes get bigger based on the number of creatures and artifacts you have, so you can get really, really big really fast with these, especially if you're making 3 of them at a time. Yeah, I love this thing. It's really fun. I've actually had multiple games while testing this deck with both Mondrak and Ojer Taq out, which means 6 times the tokens. And hey, if I can get the Anointed Procession out too, 12 times the tokens. We're gonna see if we can pull it off in one of these games. So let's take this into the queue and make a couple tokens. Skithiryx, the Blight Dragon, the only creature in Arena that has Regenerate and Infect. It's very good. It's very hard to kill because of that Regenerate, and it can kill you in just 2.5 hits, or just 2 hits if you happen to buff it up, or maybe even less if you're proliferating those poison counters. 10 and you're dead. That's the way it goes. We're going to be seeing a lot of removal and ramp from them because they've got to get this commander out and hit us with it. There you go. There's some ramp. Well, guess what? I don't have ramp. But I do have Mondrak. Mondrak who doubles the tokens. Do not kill my Mondrak. Do not kill my Mondrak. They did not kill my Mondrak. Instead, Sholdred, who hates when you draw cards. But I like drawing cards. I know. You know what else I like? Making extra tokens. So we're going to make a couple of Karnstructs here. And these are each 3/3s because they care about the number of artifacts we control, which is currently 1, 2, 3. I also have 1 mana up, so if I need to, I can make Mondrak indestructible this turn. The Orb. Getting out a couple basics. I mean, kind of good for us, but also bad for us. Our deck's not that good at drawing cards. We are a mono-white deck. Mono White has gotten a lot better at drawing cards, but not amazing. All right, there's some Proliferate. Thankfully, there's no poison on us yet. We draw. Thanks, Sheldred. Time to talk the talk. And make a couple of Karnstructs. You know, 6 of them. So that means that these are 9/9s now. It's pretty good, right? I will say that very often Skithiryx decks do have a board wipe. Crux of Fate, typically, which destroys non-dragons for them. I love things that count other things on the battlefield. I also love winning the game. GG, Skittles. Koth, who really likes those red lands. When you get Koth out, you can either use him to get more mountains or use him to kill creatures, like my sweet little Skrelv. That's why I think that getting Planeswalkers will be a pretty good way to help combat that strategy. But Koth is tricky because he +2s, which means that he gets a lot of loyalty really fast to get to his ultimate ability. And that ultimate ability It ends games fast because it says Mountain enters the battlefield, 4 damage, any target. Casting spells, who needs it? Mountains. So they're ramping. They'll be able to play Koth next turn. And I'm going to bring out Basri Cat. And we're going to plus, because what I would like to do is get Basri Cat to ultimate. Is a -6. And I suspect that Skrelv will be dying. So, yeah. You kill my Skrelv? Is Koth an Earthbender? He sure is. He's got that dirt. Ooh, actually, Skrelv is indestructible from Basri's +1 ability. Saying, oops. Sorry. We all make mistakes. And here comes Koth. Koth will make the same mistake twice, because he can just kill Skrelv. Felidar Retreat, the cat vacation home. This is going to turn landfall into kitty cats, or +1/+1 counters and vigilance, but usually in a tokens deck, it's gonna be kitties. And it ain't gonna be pretty. Oh, it's gonna be very pretty. I love the pretty kitties. They're cat beasts from Zendikar. So Basri's now at 5 loyalty. I know my head's in the way, so I'm going to tell you. 5 loyalty on this man! My cave! I was gonna use that to bop you and also play Elspeth Conquers Death this next turn. Rude. I have no creature to buff here. I guess I could have made one first off the Felidar Retreat, but I didn't think about that. A 2/2 for my beautiful battlefield. Color wheel questions. Are Earthbenders Gruul? I mean, it depends if they're doing, like, elementals. Then I feel like they might be. Kitty. They used the Carnosaur to deal some damage to Basri. I'm going to take out Koth. You can just come back again next turn. There's plenty of mana. I think Firebenders or Rakdos. I mean, we have, like, Fire Spinners in Rakdos colors. Ooh, X = 3. Take those out. Get a treasure. Yes, be gone, non-creature spells. I'm gonna make this cat. I could go for the commander here, but since the commander would die to Koth's minus ability, instead just going to plus Basri and play a Ketra's Monument to help me go wide next turn. And before you say, like, oh, well, if it dies, can't you just bring it back from Elspeth Conquers Death? No! I didn't mention this in the intro, but Taq transforms if you keep this card in the graveyard. You end up just bringing this back as a land if you keep it in the graveyard. You can't reanimate it if it dies from the battlefield. The game won't let you. Make a token. It would be cool to cast Amaria's Call. We can also just use it to make a couple kitties! And by couple, I mean 3. They have 7 mountains, so that means that, again, would die. I'll just put the counter on Skrelv, my beloved. Firebenders being red-white. I feel like if they are aligned with, like, a militia for good versus a militia for evil. So they plussed Koth, couldn't minus. Could be something that deals 3 damage to all creatures. That could take out a lot of stuff here. We have a lot of tokens. Gonna have even more next turn. Hey, SRAM's expertise. Basri Cat also able to ult. But dead, defeated, gone! I am going to move my commander back to the command zone because I think they're going to follow up with a wide damage spell. Otherwise, I could play this and try to flip it over, but that's super risky because it's really hard to flip Ojer Taq back. And it's kind of frustrating. I wish it was if you had 3 or more creatures, have to attack with them and still pay 3. If it was a free flip after attacking with 3 or more, just like tap to flip, much, much easier. This is one of the harder ones to flip over. Nice. Got a plains here. Just want to play this. Sure. Sort of wasn't damage, which is great for us. I actually kind of like going for the +1/+1, but I demand greed. More cats. Our opponent didn't like that, and they're leaving the game. Nice. GG. Glad there was no Storm's Wrath or Anger to the Gods at the end. Itali Primal Conqueror. This is the 7-mana 7/7 dinosaur that usually ramps up directly into the commander because it gets you 2 extra spells when this comes into play. And those 2 spells are each off the top of our deck, so 1 from me, 1 from them, and usually results in them ramping even more, so they can flip it over and turn it into the Bite Steel Colossus. Nice turn 1 ramp. Would you like to trade? You receive a Dead Esper Sentinel. I receive a Bolted Llanowar Elf. Nope, instead they let the Sentinel live so they could get a turn 2 Cultivate out. Gets them 2 more lands. That puts them to at least 5 mana next turn. Unless we use the Skyclave Apparition to take that elf out of play, causing elf harm over here, and swing for 4. Thank you, Intrepid Adversary. Adversary is mostly in this deck for the buff, but it's great just on curve, speaking of which. Sram's Expertise into In the Trenches gives all my creatures a buff and gets me 3 more tokens. Taq is like, wait, I wish I was out here. So that could have been 9 tokens. I don't care. Ojer Taq. We're busy being aggro. GG. Prosper! Tomebound! Now with all these cards that are casting from exile using the Discover mechanic, Prosper just got even better. Hey there, Prosper, who cares about casting from exiles and exiles cards, so you can cast them from exile. Prosper gives you a treasure when this stuff happens, and there's a lot of cards that are good in Prosper. Like Prosper. Prosper is good in Prosper. Believe it if you will. Lots of impulse draws. Lots of just good stuff in Rakdos colors, a good amount of removal, and of course, more things that let you play from exile. Have a mighty little might! Every turn, we'll lose a life, get a might, so we can say, night, night. Nice, so this gives you treasure and impulse draws. Works great with Prosper. I think I'll get down... Get down. I'll get down Adeline here. Adeline gets me more tokens, and I feel like this will curve pretty nicely into going Sram's Expertise into Heraldic Banner next turn for just a lot more damage. Here comes Prosper, and I'm gonna offer them a trade of Adeline for Prosper here. That's not the worst. Sram's Expertise. Make a couple servos. You know, they have a key to the archive and exile there. Heraldic Banner, naming white. Notably, Adeline and the tokens she makes are going to be the only white creatures out right now. These are all colorless. So, would you like to take the 8 or get the free block? And they're going for the free block. Experimental Synthesizer lets them play a card from exile until end of turn. Ooh, Urbrass, which gives you an extra card in exile each turn. Nice! I'll have 6 mana next turn. And I think our opponent knows that that's going to be probably the end. Because we're going to have a real big lady And we're gonna have triple the tokens. GG, Prosper. Obnixilis Captive Kingpin. Something that's kind of scary about this card is that there's an easy-to-build, infinite combo in this deck. All will be one in Obnixilis means you get +1/+1 counters, deal a damage, +1/+1 counters, deal a damage, +1/+1 counters, deal a damage, until your opponent is dead. Can get pretty nasty pretty fast. Obnixilis is all about dealing 1 damage at a time, and only 1 damage at a time, which means that we're going to be pinged by the Kingpin. He's the king of pings. Hello there, Cauldron Familiar. This is, by the way, the nerfed version of Cauldron Familiar, if you're wondering why did I attack in there. Because it doesn't actually deal damage. I think like hitting the Blood Artist here with Swords to Plowshares would be okay. Doesn't feel super necessary to me though. Let's make some tokens. Sanguine Evangelist, another new card that comes with a bat. It also makes a bat when it dies. Has Bat Ul Cry. I figured I would try some new cards in this deck. You know, I wanna play around with new cards. Good for going wide. Blood Artist, I do not want you draining me. But I do want my creatures to be extra super mega ultra dummy thick. So I'm gonna Stram's Expertise into Flowering of the White Tree, which is gonna give a great big +1/+1 and +2/+1 in Ward 1 to my legends, like my commander. Aww, they bolted the Sentinel before they would have to pay the 2, so that's smart. And this helps enable me to swing in and gives me a pretty wide board. Now, this would have been an even wider board if we had this guy out, but we didn't. Because 6 mana. It's a lot of mana. Our opponent is also seemingly stuck on 2 here. Getting rid of my Battle Cry. Getting me another bat. And it looks like they should have mulliganed. Yep. It's the old classic 2-lander. Swinging with everything. And you know, white has been getting access to better and better card draw. So we can use Minas Tirith to draw cards, but I think our opponent is rightfully going to leave the game. They got mana screwed. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. Atraxa, Praetor's Voice. This is the proliferating Atraxa that comes out. It's a 4 mana, 4/4 flying, vigilance, death touch, lifelink. Yeah, you like keywords, right? And it's oftentimes played with either poison counters, +1/+1, of course, or planeswalkers. And I won't know which until we start getting a little bit more into the game. Right now, they're just ramping. Ramp is good. Turn 1 Llanowar Elf, good. I played a turn 1 Paladin class. Oh, look at this! Even more mana dorks! They don't have black mana yet. That's, I suppose, good for me. I could save this just in case we keep drawing lands. I would love to get triple the Angels of Ameria's Call. That would be really cool. I found black mana. And here comes Atraxa, but with nothing to proliferate. Yet. The yet is important. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting here. The yet. I kind of like Boromir as a blocker versus Blade Splicer, so I'm just going to pop down Boromir. Next turn, we can either do Thousand Moon Smithy to make a big single token. It's not actually that big yet, but hopefully it can get bigger. Or Stram's Expertise into Blade Splicer. That goes really wide, which will give us a really good token and a potential flip on this on the turn after. Oh, Doubling Season for double the counters. That tells me this is actually most likely to be Planeswalkers, because yes, doubling the tokens from other things is good, but it's not as effective at just winning the game in one shot as Doubling Season is with just Planeswalkers. Like +1/+1 counters. Yeah, that's great. But if you were doing scales, I think it'd be even scarier. We're gonna go Stram's Expertise. Go Stram's Expertise into Blade Splicer, since they have something that's very evasive here. Pass the turn. The search for glory. They're going to gain 1 life, and they're going to get a legend. Legendary planeswalkers are legends. I wonder which it'll be. Liliana, who can win the game? I do have a couple cards that can get rid of doubling season, and I'm gonna have to try and find them. Yo, Yakwo-san! Thank you so much for gifting a sub to Mysterian 00. So, nothing I got here really stops this, because the sacrifice thing here, not doing that much. Not doing that much for me. Beef my creatures! And attack! A great violence. Doubling season means that Liliana will come into play with 12 loyalty counters, so she can immediately -9. I will choose to keep my Boromir, my Plains, my Paladin class, and my Phyrexian Golem alive. Could be worse, right? Help me. Stop! I don't have a land. So I'll swing in. They could just afford to recast their commander. Also, their commander is going to be spitting out 2 tokens per turn. I don't think I'm winning this one. Yeah, the doubling season into Lily, that's a good game. I'm not going to stick around and dirtle myself to death. I'm just going to hit that good old concede button. Chandra, Hope's Beacon! She doubles instants or sorceries. She makes mana. She can get you cards. And she's just overall a really, really good card. This hand has one of my favorite cards to use with Ojer Taq, but it doesn't have a lot of mana. It also only had 1 thing that I could really cast or do there. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait and try again. All right, so this is better as far as early game stuff goes. We've got a 2/2 Knight. I've got the Paladin class, Patriarch's Humiliation. And hopefully some of these things will be good enough to help keep me alive. Also, Anointed Procession into Thousand Mood Smithy if I draw some lands would be really, 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 really cool. Like, so cool. I know, getting Mondrak in the opening hand. Ugh. Anointed Procession's like a Mondrak that, you know, doesn't die to certain kill spells when you're tapped out. You can make Mondrak indestructible, which is pretty sweet, though. Alright, Paladin class. By the way, this is one of the best new cards in any white aggro and tokens deck. Virtue of Loyalty. Put it in your Reeses. Put it in your Mondraks. Put it in your Taqs. It's a really good card. Hi, Chandra. I'll just make the Knight at instant speed. And next turn, if I don't have another move, I can just level up my Paladin class. Rushman! Rushman 112, thank you for the 16-month resub. White Wizard. It's time for you to go. White Wizard. Did you disconnect? Oh, nope, they're definitely here. I see them hovering. Ah, a second land. Ironvale Fealty. I got a tutu. Cool, I could level that up. I'm gonna go for the History of Benalia instead. It's since this is a knight and these are all knights, we're gonna get a knight, and then we're gonna say knight to our opponent. Assuming they don't just kill all my creatures. Number 7, thank you for the 53-month resub. Realm Breaker, that can ramp you, stealing lands from your opponent. I think that's tempting. I'm gonna go for the Anointed Procession into this. It's less damage, but it feels safer against a potential big old board wipe. Alright, Realm Breaker. You want to steal my dirt so I can lay on the hurt? Pretty far from actually casting Chandra, at least. That's good. This Chandra's minus, by the way, just being able to deal, like, the damage split across 2 things is so good. I've used this as a 6 mana, deal 5 to 2, like, targets, like my opponent's face and one of their creatures or planeswalkers. Yep, that's why we didn't do it. Board wipe. It was a Sweltering Suns. It felt like it was very likely for them to have something like that. And it makes me feel a little bit better about what I did. Alright, 1000 Moon Smithy. We're gonna get 2 instead of 1, so we have 2 3/3s. They'll get bigger the more creatures we get. Or artifacts. We mostly have creatures in this deck, though. Yeah, the passive on this Chandra is really good. And they should be able to play her in a turn. Able of the Mirror Breaker. Nice. I can't flip that this turn. I imagine they're not going to have too much creature-wise, so I'm just going to use Patriarch's Humiliation. And swing in. They can discard and draw, which should get them a bit more, just a little bit more mana. If they want to, they can discard to find a land if they don't already have one. And then 6 means Chandra. Chandra can -4, take out these 2 gnomes. I wanted to gnome them, but they're gonna gnome me. At least if they do that, I can, like, swing in with the Mutavault right after. And we do have the tax if our opponent's trying to cast things during our turn. A remarkably helpful ability. Okay, so they discarded Star of Extinction, a big board wipe, and Worn Power Stone. We're gonna get to gnome each other. Yeah. Alright, so they have a tapped land. Tapped lands means not Chandra this turn. Oh, but it's this! It's a little Chandra! Hi! This is actually, like, one of the best cards ever printed. I love Chandra Torch of Defiance. Paying 3 mana to activate Realm Breaker. Boop, boop, boop. There were no lands in my graveyard. Failed to steal. Alright, so this is a land. We can kill Chandra. Good game? Good game. We'd also kill their face using, Mutavault. Yeah, that works. Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty. Big old Naga who likes to ramp and then goes cascading. I have a Boromir in my deck, so hopefully we can find Boromir and stop that pesky cascade. Before it even happens. They said green. Why are you saying green? Oh, you're saying green because you have a Thrive in Isle. Well, I hope that you only have non-creature ramp, so my Esper Sentinel will trigger and draw me cards. Tangled Florahedron. Esper Sentinel with boots on. Hopefully next turn we're getting down Mondrak. Also, if anybody can read my opponent's name, I would love to know what it says or how to pronounce it, because right now it's a guy under a shelter. A game of tic-tac-toe, and then LJ Little Johnson. So right now their name is Lil Johnson. Hi, Emoti! Emoti is cascading into Craig, the Iron Crag. They cannot pay the one, so we get sweet Swords to Plowshares. I can't actually make many tokens this turn, so I'm very happy with this. I think we're going to go for Skyclave Apparition on Iron Crag. Iron Craig. Swords to Plowshares actually on the Florahedron, not Emoti. No, I'm not trying to sacrifice yet. I'm going to put the booties on Uties, though. Oops. They got 5 mana, but something has to cost 6 or more to get that cascade. So usually there's like a bit of a divide here. This is, by the way, this is my token maker here. Swinging in with these two. There are some things with flash and Simic colors, which we have to be pretty mindful of, but not too mindful. Have a commander. So now, if we were to, for example, make a human token, we would get 6 human tokens. And if I got a land, and I cast this, I would have 6 4/4 angels. Good game, Lil Johnson! Just kidding, it would make a lot more than that many tokens, because we would get doubled, and then we get 6 times, makes 2 angels, so 12 angels? Yes? 12 angels. Tan Halam, at least I think that's how you say that name, is a new alchemy commander who gives double team to a land or artifact, turns them into 3/3s, lets you attack with them. It's a very strange ability, but yeah, a Bant Spirit who does that. Let's go. I really don't know what to expect from this. I assume a lot of artifacts that like enter the battlefield and draw you a card. Seems good enough to me. Let's get down Skrelv, so this will come in untapped. Also, Skrelv plus Skrelv's Hive equals value? Markov Descendant, thank you so much for the 7-month resub.
Toss a sub to your Twitcher.
Thank you so much for tossing a coin to your Twitcher. I appreciate it. I'm going to spend that coin on Diet Coke. I don't have a problem. Ooh. Animating the One Ring so you could keep making copies of the One Ring? That's disgusting! What a really good idea. Yeah, you can just, like, keep recycling One Rings using this guy, giving yourself protection from everything every turn. That's awful, I hate it! Is Double Team a one-of thing? Yes, but that's legendary, so you get the Double Team, you play it, you kill your other One Ring, maybe you've drawn a card with it first, and then you play a new one and animate it, and it gets Double Team. Sounds pretty good to me. I'm gonna play In the Trenches, try to buff up my creatures. A confounding riddle! Riddle me this! What costs 4 mana more than you have? Is it paying the tax on confounding riddle? Yes! I hate this Riddler. This Riddler sucks! So Clay-Fired Bricks has Double Team. It swings in. Yeah, you can give something Double Team that's lost Double Team. So that will get them this, which can get them another land. That's pretty dang good. Oh my god, all these beautiful token doublers. I'm going to go for Mondrak. And I kind of like attacking in with something here and like giving it the protection. So I can get them to 3 for the corruption on Skrelv's Hive. But instead, I'm holding Skrelv back to protect Mondrak. Because Mondrak is not yet indestructible. And, ooh, yeah, that doesn't help. We're dead. All my beautiful creatures gone, destroyed, ended. We know they have counterspells in their deck, so bam, Mural. You want to counterspells? Not on my turn, you won't. You want to see that rabble-rousing go? I would love to rabble-rousing with Taq. I don't actually think rabble-rousing is a good, consistent card, but it's very funny when it works to be like, yeah, there's 10 of us. What of it? Same with, Halo Fountain, which I took out of this deck. They got some bric-a-brac. They got some crab. Playing against an actual factual Voxy over here, huh? There's a truck beeping outside. You stop that! They're doing something weird outside today. They shut off the water to my building. Probably digging up, like, a water line. I'd believe it. Hello, yes. You have 2 mana. You're gonna crack that clue, since you can't crack a clue if Mural is out. I also kind of like the idea of turning Mural into an angel. But instead, Anointed Procession, I'm gonna swing in with both. Ba-bam! Twice the tokens, twice the fun. Would this get you the backside of something that's flipped? No, I believe it would get you the front side, because it's the card that gets conjured into your hand. Whoa! What the heck? Can't believe you've done this. Like Mural, just like Mural is the safest move here. Stram's Expertise into Get Lost, Skrelv's Hive would be good, but stopping the counterspells, because again, you know this person's running counterspells, seems smart. This can animate a land. Yes, if you animated an MDFC, for example, this one, you would get a copy of the card in your hand. So you could cast or play the card. One, two, three, four. Crab. Okay. All right. There's something so funny about just like, yeah, it's a crab. What do you want? They weren't trying to send a message. They were trying to trigger Chartacourse. I was thinking they might have, like a Ganjo. Nope, Day of Judgment generated by Key to the Archive. Could you choose a treasure? No, it can't be a token. But there are some non-token treasures, and if you did choose one of those, you would make a copy. But it has to be a card. Okay, more bric-a-brac. So that is a second board wipe from this person. Getting sick and tired of this. Here's my commander. Please don't kill it. They can, like, make a copy of Key to the Archive, which, first of all, gross. Would you look at that? A lot of bricks. We block. Stop with the bric-a-brac. Yeah, their deck's really bricking. They could flip one of these over. There's one in the graveyard. Look! And now they get +1/+1 on a couple tokens. I get a couple tokens, too. Oh, actually, I get 3 of them. I am 1 mana short of this. Let's see what we can get off rabble rousing. It might just be countered. Get out of my way. Zoids the plowshares? No! Well, darn. Just you wait, I'll rouse this rabble. I'll go rabble, rabble, rabble. I will be the rabble. The rabble rather roused. 4, 5, 6. Flippy? Oh, no, 7, 8. What's with all the colors? Why'd you leave open these specifically? I don't like that. Oh, nice. So somebody before was asking about, like, using this. Yeah, it works. It gets them a copy of Seagate Restoration. They can't play it this turn, though. I don't think they have enough mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I have a counter spell, though, it would make sense. Carnage. Counterspell. I can't block. You want to kill me? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Yay! They saw the line! This person sure likes their bricks. Mono green modify with Kodama of the West Tree. Kodama cares about things that have equipment or counters on them because then they get trample. And if they deal damage to your opponent, you get a basic land and just throw it into play. It can be really good, and it's good with a lot of cards that, like, you might not even think about. Like, oh yeah, scales, sure, +1/+1 counters. There's some really good equipment out there too. And there's a bunch of Hydras that just come with +1/+1 counters on them. They're really nice. I'm gonna ramp because I can. Hopefully getting down this smithy with all these extra artifacts. Hi, Kodama. Southern Moon Smithy gets me a 4/4. Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures / artifacts. We can protect it with Skrelv and hopefully block Kodama and friends. Favorite enemy? What is my favorite? Human? I guess it's human. I'm a 3/3, but you can't target me. I don't have 5 to tap for you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sweetie. Bank booster. Make it bigger. Boots. Make it bigger. Boots on the guy. Perfect. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures and or artifacts. Can I do it? Can I do the thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5! Yeah! I didn't like really need to do that, but I've never gotten to do it before, so nice. Don't show me their demolition field. No, I don't have a demolition. There's no demolition field on the board. They just want to ramp. See? They just want to ramp. They want to hit me, deal modified damage, and get 3 basics. Yes. Yes! I guess if I get a 1-drop creature, I'd be able to do both. Now I just do this. Bam. Yeah! Yeah! Look at it go! I'm moving the booties. Protect my commander, please. Thank you. And I'll attack for 8. And also 6. Look at me go, baby! Sure, they have all the mana in the world, but I got to make one of these. And if I get to make another one... It's only for casting artifacts and enchantments. Not artifacts and creatures. Cool. Great Henge gives them more card draw, more buffins, more toughens, more fun. Averbrook Caretaker. It is daytime. Gets a +1/+1 counter, and we'll put 2 +1/+1 counters. Is it any permanent? Whenever you cast an artifact or creature. Such as, for example, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is bigger than the Amaria's Call tokens would be. Dang, that was beautiful. I'm gonna draw. Just gonna play the Welcoming Vampire because it's going to buff these up. They are now 13. I'm gonna give one of them haste because they're really, 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 really big. And swing in with a bunch of them. Boop, boop, boop. Perhaps a boop from you as well. They have really good tokens, right? I'm fine with this flipping. I crave violence. So we're gonna let Ojer Taq actually transform and come back as a land. Mono green's not so good at wiping the board, though there are some mass artifact destruction effects. There's not that many. I also feel like they don't have it. Ooh, a Hydra! An infinite blocker. Roar. There's cards in green, in Arena, that either destroy or exile all artifacts. You gonna kill my Welcoming Vampire? Yeah, Fade from History is one I was thinking it would give me a bear. Polendrite Druid. The Hydra's gonna be large. It's not a counter for each damage prevented. There's another Hydra, I think, that does that, though. But it's not this one. You're a 9/9? That's cute. I'm out here with my 11/11s. Yes. Get a couple more critters out. Swinging him for big hitters. GG. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars. I hope you enjoyed all of the terrible tokens that we were making and seeing them made in triplicate. I had a really good time getting to play this commander, even though I will say I think that the better commander choice is going to be Mondrak. But hey, we gotta play with our new cards, right? Making triple the creature tokens is really fun, and it is good to get to experiment with something that costs a little more, but hits even harder. And being a 6/6 with Vigilance, certainly not bad for me. I really liked playing this deck, and I hope you will too. The deck is in the description of the video, and if you want to come over to my stream and watch me make these videos, play all of my other decks, and have a really good time, come over to twitch.tv/Amazonian. I even recently played in a tournament. Ooh, Twitch Rivals on my channel. I need to upload the footage. It's going to take me a while to edit it because I recorded it from a cell phone. Don't question it. But I'm going to try to get that tournament footage up pretty soon on YouTube as well. Thank you so much for watching, and have a brawlful day.